Hello, Braves fans, and welcome back to another edition of Indian Hill Sports Report. I'm Peter Carr.
And I'm Andrew Burgess. In today's show, we're going to start off with a piece from the band. Then we're going to move on to the boys' football game, and that'll be the wrap.
The Indian Hill Band has had a very successful season, helping the football team win on Friday nights. Recently, they had a huge competition out in Indianapolis, Bands of America. Here's Andrew Wiebold reporting.
I think we bring a lot of excitement to sporting events, especially like the football games where we're out there and we're playing the music in the stands. We want to get all the fans hyped up and really enjoy the game. We do march at halftime, and our show this year was Candide, which is an operetta by Leonard Bernstein.
Being drum major, I hold a lot of responsibility for the rest of the band. I basically get them started every day, warm them up. I stand on the podium during the show and wave my arms around a lot.
My favorite thing to do at football games would definitely have to be the shuffle. That's when we're playing the song Wipeout, and we get down in the front of the bleachers and we just run around and play, and it's just real crazy and it's lots of fun.
Probably the people. The whole experience was sweet. Like the way that the band grew and developed over the year was very inspiring, I would say. But otherwise, it was a lot of fun just to meet new people and to get to know some younger people who hadn't experienced and teach them new stuff.
Being a senior in the band has really meant that I can, especially for me as the drum captain in the drum line, I have seen there are a whole bunch of new freshmen and sophomores who come into band. And it's just amazing to see, at the very least, how much progress they've made since August and how much better they've gotten. And as a senior, it's just awesome for me to see that, you know, even though this is my last year, that the band will be there next year, will be there the year after, and it will be a really good band even after I'm gone. And that's really been a great experience for me.
It'd probably be just leaving the entire program. It's been the last 5 years pretty much of every fall and every summer of my life, so it's hard to leave something when you're so used to it and you love it so much. But and basically just the entire experience is going to be so hard to leave too. I've gotten so used to it and I've loved every second of it. That's going to be the hardest part.
This year at BOA, the band probably had the best show we've had all season. It was an amazing show. It was just everything clicked, everything fell into place, and it went really well.
We really improved on musicality and the way we played the music. By the end of the year, we had a really good sense of dynamic phrasing and dynamic contrast, and which is basically just the rise and fall of the music. And we developed that over the year, and we had really high musical scores because of that, and it was probably the strongest part of our entire show.
Stepping onto the RCA Dome at BOA is definitely one of the most exciting and rewarding experiences of the marching band season. It's the crowd and the energy that's in the stadium is just amazing, and you go through the airlock and everybody's really excited for the show, and it's just the colors and the people just make the whole season worthwhile.
I think it went pretty well. It was a good show, good group of kids, a lot of fun. It sounded good, so.
And so even though we didn't make it onto semifinals, we weren't really expecting that, and we got a good rating, we got a good score, and we were just completely pleased with our show.
Guys football came to an end the other night, but overall this season will be remembered as a record-breaking season and a season that will live on in Indian Hill sports history forever. And Andrew, why was this such a successful season?
Well, Peter, it's just, I mean, there's a number of reasons why it was so successful. The players being one of the reasons, just how athletic each player has been that starts on the team. I mean, we've got Scherpenberg to Kendall to Danny to Case to you to Kevin McFarland. Just everyone on the team is just so athletic, and they all did their jobs very well, and that's really what made it happen throughout the season.
I mean, yeah, it's really true. You have 6 captains, and there was just tons of senior leadership on this team this year. I mean, 17 different seniors that ended up playing this season. So definitely a lot of leadership, and practice was very competitive. And that's probably why the Braves were so successful this season.
Yeah, Peter, and it's unfortunate that your season came to an end earlier than the team's goals were, but I mean, going to the tournament, you've won more games than any other team in IH history after beating Roger Bacon in the first round of the tournament. And, you know, we all knew that this was going to be a tough tournament game to beat the Generals, but you guys put up a good fight, and they were just a real big, strong, powerful team, and the cards just didn't fall our way. I mean, we had a number of plays that, you know, they just got lucky on, one of those being the punts. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. They had a punt that was well over 60 yards at the end of the game that really pinned us back at the 6-yard line when we needed a score, and that was late in the fourth quarter. And that's really, you know, that was one of the deciding factors in the game, was that punt. And I mean, that's just one of the lucky bounces that the ball has, and it wasn't in our favor.
I think one of the things, Andrew, was how big their offensive line was. I mean, once you got actually up there, it wasn't the fact of their physical strength or how big they were. It was the fact that you couldn't see around them to find their ball carriers. And their ball carriers were so much better on Friday night than they were on film. I mean, as you can see, just running over people. I mean, Danny Johnson tries to tackle this guy low, and the kid just hurdles him. I mean, you don't see that by high school running backs too much. And you really saw they had very key running backs.
Oh, yeah, they had some advanced running skills. And Danny's been doing that same move all season. It's worked every time. He's flipped a couple kids. I mean, he's really just taken some guys out because he's really an expert in tackling guys low. And you're right, this guy just jumps right over him and gets 5 or 6 more yards out of the run. But their offensive line really, I mean, they were just diving at our feet, taking out our line for pretty much the whole game. I mean, we got them under control in the third and fourth quarter. We really were able to stop their run consistently. But then, I mean, their defensive backs and their defense really started bringing some pressure on Scherpenberg, and really they were playing tough defense against our receivers.
I think one thing that was surprising about that team is once we were able to stop their run game, they just got some lucky breaks with the pass game and, you know, completed some key passes in that game, and that really changed the momentum on Friday.
But, you know, Peter, even though we did lose, Indian Hill had a lot of positives in that game. One of them being Bo Cordell's touchdown, which is real unexpected. I mean, Scherpenberg gets hurt on the play previous to that. The ref takes him out for the play. Bo Cordell walks in. I mean, the fans are going crazy. You know, what's going to happen here? I mean, the announcers were saying it's probably going to be a run. That's what everyone expected. And then Bo Cordell, he steps up in the pocket, launches the ball down the field to Jake Kendall in double coverage, and Jake Kendall comes down with it for the touchdown. And, you know, that's something that I don't think anyone in the stands expected. I mean, and I don't think any of the players on the field really expected that we're going to get a touchdown when we have our freshman quarterback come in. But, you know, I mean, that's a real positive and a look ahead to future seasons in Indian Hill.
I mean, it definitely is. It was crazy. It was really weird when he came into the game. He was very poised, but he came into the game, and it's 3rd and long. And all of us are sitting there, and we're like, oh, we're just going to run. Like, I was, like, talking to the O-line. I was like, calm down, guys. We're running the ball here. We have to get this down. Like, this is a key play in this game. And he comes in and he calls a pass play. And I think all of us O-linemen are sitting there like, oh, man, like, can he really do this? And he was so poised, stepped up, looked for Jake Kendall. I mean, you look for a senior who's going to make a play on a ball, and he knew he had to make a play on that 3rd down, and he stepped up and made the catch.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an amazing play, and I'm excited for Bo Cordell. I'm sure he was livid after that. I mean, we saw him on the sidelines coming back. Everybody's patting him on the head, and, you know, everybody's going wild. So it was a really cool play. The other thing, our first touchdown actually came on a Cousineau run, which was quite amazing. I mean, Cousineau's had a lot of touchdowns in his season, the most on the team. But I think this one was really special because he runs it in the end zone, and right before he crosses the line, he just levels a guy. He just takes him out. The guy comes up to make the tackle, and Case lowers his head and just knocks the guy on his butt and walks in the end zone. And I thought that was real cool. It was real, you know, everybody got excited. In the very first play that I think was real important was after they scored their first touchdown. We bring in some guys that can really jump. They've got some hops. We got John Spatz and Drew Tolliver, and so they're going for the extra point. And they go up for the kick, and John Spatz and Tolliver just leap over the line, and they get up, man, and just block that ball. And, you know, that was real key because that puts us up 1 after we get our first touchdown.
In fact, if you look at this picture that Barbara McFarland took of the first extra point that the other team attempted, that they block. You just look and you can see how high John Spatz and Drew Tolliver can jump. It's unbelievable. In fact, we just put them in on that team this week on PAT field goal block just because we know how high they can jump, and they definitely came away with a huge play in the beginning of the game.
You know, that's one of the things that Sheridan really struggled with throughout their game is just the extra points. You know, once they scored touchdowns, it was really hard for them to actually get the 2 points or the 1 point, whichever one they went for. Jake Kendall intercepted the ball on one of their 2-point conversions. I think he also batted a ball down earlier in the game. You know, I mean, we were real good on stopping them getting further points after they got in our end zone.
Definitely, we were. I mean, and then you go into that fourth quarter and Indian Hill's trailing, and you got to think after last week's game, Indian Hill can always come back and always have a chance to win. And I mean, just some things didn't go our way, but with the final seconds, Indian Hill had the ball again, and Mike Scherpenberg just, I mean, as the leader of this team this year, really stepped up, was real poised back there, found Case Kuzno in the end zone, wide open for the touchdown. And that was real clutch at the end of the game. With about 23 seconds left, Indian Hill tries the onside kick. And it's kind of controversial because it really seems, in any tape you watch, that it bounced off one of the Sheridan players. Although it didn't go 10 yards, it still hit one of their players. And it seemed that Shea Donovan had come up with the recovery.
Yeah, that's what the video shows. But the refs, like you said, called it that it didn't go 10 yards, so they just automatically gave it to Sheridan. I don't know. I think the ref might not have, probably didn't see that the ball hit a Sheridan player, but Shea Donovan definitely picked up that ball after it hit the player. So, you know, I mean, the cards didn't really fall our way in a lot of the cases, but we played real tough, and I mean, Sheridan just had a real good game.
Definitely. I mean, that was a very emotional game for all the seniors, your last game at Indian Hill. But, I mean, in the future, if you look back at how successful this season was, I mean, 11-0, more wins than any other Indian Hill team in history, CHL champs, city champs, and Dr. Kariakis agreed that we were probably one of the best teams in Indian Hill history, if not the best team.
Yeah.
And talking with Coach Seipel the other day, he ended up saying he was so proud of like how much effort these seniors had put forth their whole careers here at Indian Hill. And in particular, I think it's amazing that you can have, in one season, you can have a 3,000-yard passer who throws for 41 touchdowns in Mike Scherpenberg, a running back who runs for over 1,000 yards and scores 25 touchdowns this season, and then you have Jake Kendall, a 1,000-yard receiver. I mean, that just shows three just great players that were produced through this team.
That's right, Peter. And now, for the first time this season, we had the opportunity to sit down with all 6 of the captains of the best football team in Indian Hill history. Here's Pat.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Alex Becker, Andrew Kariakis, Mike Scherpenberg, Jake Kendall, Case Kuzno, and Peter Carr, all 6 captains of the Indian Hill football team. Now, starting things off, Alex and Andrew, I just want to ask you guys, what did it mean for you guys to be part of Indian Hill football for your 4 years in high school?
You know, Pat, it was just a great experience. Be with such a great group of guys, and just have the success we had over the past, 6 years that I've been here. And, I mean, these guys had a lot more success, obviously, playing in Pee Wee, but just a great experience. Can't say enough.
Meant a lot to me. My dad played here, as you know, you did an episode on that earlier, and my older brother played here. I got to play a year with him, and the tradition here is great. Meant a lot to play with all those guys.
Now, you're talking about your dad, Andrew. I know he was on that last team that went undefeated, so was there, some tension in the household, like which team was better? How'd that...
Well, he didn't mention until about week 5 when he realized we had the chance of going undefeated, but it was something he wanted me to do and be a part of because he knows the feeling of it. And around week 10, he came around and said he thought we were the best team in Indian Hill history.
Now, Andrew just made a pretty big comment there, Alex. Like, what do you think about that? Best team in Indian Hill history. What's that mean to you?
Well, it's special. I mean, just a great honor to be called that. Go undefeated and be city champs was already big enough, but being the best team in your school's history obviously just adds on to it.
Nice. Now, next, Mike and Jake. You guys have been playing together for a long time. Like, you always look to each other for big plays. Is that great knowing that Jake's always going to be there and that Mike's always going to have the ball there for you? Like, how'd that play out on the field?
I mean, it was just great. I could always rely on Jake. You know, needed a big play, go to him or any of these guys. But, you know, Jake was always there. I knew where he was going to be. So it's just great having confidence in him.
Yeah, I think especially from this year to last year, we improved greatly, like knowing each other and everything like that. Sharp's a good quarterback, and we got it done in the field.
Thanks.
All right, now, Case and Peter, I walked past these guys. And what did it mean, to be part of these six captains? You got great football players, great guys. What did it mean to you two to be the leaders on this team?
Yeah, we had so many leaders this year on the team. We had so many seniors and good juniors who are good leaders. And to be a part of the six is just a great accomplishment.
Yeah, it really is an honor with 17 seniors and a lot of junior leadership too this year. It's just an honor to be a captain of this team.
Now, we have Case Kuzno here. I mean, your family kind of got like lineage here in the Indian Hill football program. I mean, what that mean to you? Your brothers played here, now they passed the torch on to you. How do you feel about continuing the name?
This is great. I just want to live up to what they accomplished here, so I think I did that, and I think we did a good job.
And we're talking about player history. I mean, Peter, you just switched over to football your freshman year. How'd that feel? You come into something and then you come up, learn to love it, become a leader. How'd that feel? The whole transition and becoming part of the family that is Indian Hill football.
I mean, it's just a great experience. All these guys are great. In fact, most of these guys were my first friends that I ever had in Indian Hill, so it's been a great 4 years.
Now, before we, end things today, I just want to ask all of you, in one word, describe to me, what it meant to be part of Indian Hill football for your past 4 years.
Well, in one word, I'd have to say special. Just with the group of guys we had, the coaching staff, and the way the school got behind us during our playoff run was just very special.
Andrew?
One word to describe it all, I'd say family, because through the ups and downs of 4 years, no matter what, you had 60-something brothers you could count on and turn to, and that was great.
Mike?
I would say exciting. Just watching our games was exciting. Playing in them was exciting. So exciting, I would say.
Jake?
I'd say fun. I mean, Friday nights under the lights playing with all your buddies. I had a great time.
Case?
I would have to say dominating because we won so many games over our career.
Peter?
It's hard to pick just one word, but I'm going to use a phrase. The greatest time of my life. Because it truly was.
Greatest time of your life. That wasn't really one word, though, Peter. I mean, I think everybody else did one. We got to get one from you, too.
Okay, so one word, amazing.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. Family, special, exciting, fun, dominating, and amazing. Great words to describe a great football team. Thanks, guys, and back to you guys in the studio.
Next week's show will include a musical highlight of Indian Hill's 2005 football season, designed by Terry Carr. If you would like to get any of the pictures on today's show, you can contact Barbara McFarland at Barbara McFarland Photography. You can contact her by phone at 271-7775.
If you have any information that you would think would help me and Peter out here at Indian Hill Sports Report, you can contact us by email at ihsportsreporter@hotmail.com or by phone at 272-4635. And you can also log on to the web and go to www.ihtn.net.
For all of us here at Indian Hill Sports Report, I'm Peter Carr.
And I'm Andrew Burgess.
See you next time.
Stay for in time. up, she's leading me to